Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here because honestly, the source material we're unpacking today is a total game changer. We're exploring a topic that literally touches every single one of us every single day. Where does our true peace actually come from? It's like a journey into the mechanics of our internal emotional landscapes, figuring out how they tick and more importantly, how we can redesign them for the better. We've all been on that wild roller coaster, right? Feeling on top of the world one minute and completely crushed the next. Well, today, using some incredibly insightful material, we're going to visually map out exactly why that happens and how we can finally break the cycle.
Okay, let's dive into this right away. Who really controls your emotions? Seriously, think about your baseline assumption for a second. If you're like most of us, you probably operate on this default belief that other people and the stuff they do or say basically dictate how you feel. We kind of go through our days assuming our emotional state is essentially a TV remote control and it's being held by whoever we happen to interact with. But the material we're exploring today completely challenges this exact premise right out of the gate.
Which brings us right to Section 1, the illusion of control.
To really wrap our heads around this illusion, think about that classic action and reaction cycle we all know so well. On one side, someone gives us praise, and boom, we instantly feel happy. On the flip side, someone delivers criticism, and ouch, we instantly feel hurt. It feels totally automatic, doesn't it? But here's where the source material drops a profound truth. In reality, neither praise nor criticism actually has the power to create happiness or sorrow on its own. I mean, they're just words. They're just external events floating in the air. They don't have a direct, mechanical wire plugged right into your happiness center. So if the praise and criticism aren't doing it directly, what exactly are they interacting with to make us feel these intense emotional swings?
So the crucial point is that the missing link here is the ego. Our source defines the ego quite simply as the image we've built of ourselves. And that is the secret sauce. When those external words come flying in, they aren't hitting your true self, they're hitting this constructed image. Praise puffs that image up, and criticism threatens to pop it. The ego is literally the sole target that's actually affected by what others say and do. Recognizing this distinction, separating yourself from that image, is the absolutely essential first step in our explainer today.
Moving on to Section 2, Trapped by the Ego. And guys, this is where things get a little bit dangerous. Because think about it. If our happiness depends entirely on applause, we inherently become weak the very moment that appreciation disappears. True inner peace, according to our text, only really kicks in when we stop depending on others for our self-worth. By outsourcing our emotional well-being to the clapping hands of a crowd, whether that's your boss, your friend group, or the likes on your social media feed, we are essentially building our house on sand. When the applause inevitably stops, and it always does eventually, the happiness just collapses, simply because that foundation was never really ours to begin with.
And that leads to this incredibly striking quote from the source: "Prisoners of other people's opinions." Take a moment, let that really sink in. If your peace is routinely destroyed by criticism, you aren't just having a bad day. You are literally living as a captive. You're allowing the passing thoughts and the vocalized opinions of others to serve as the lock and key to your own emotional cell. It's a harsh reality to face, but seeing it laid out like this, that's exactly how we start to break out.
But hey, here is the good news. Let's lift the energy and shift our focus to Section 3, Achieving Emotional Independence and Discovering Your True Nature.
And this brilliantly illustrates a major mindset shift. As the text states, a person who truly understands their nature realizes that their inherent value does not increase with praise, nor does it decrease with blame. Your worth is completely static. It's a constant. It's not some stock market ticker that goes up and down based on the daily news of what people think about you. When you actually internalize this concept, all that external noise suddenly loses its grip on you completely.
Once you realize your value is static, just look at what becomes possible. You develop the superpower to remain calm through the extreme contrasts of life: success and failure, honor and insult, gain and loss. These are the inevitable pendulum swings of being human, right? But the source text tells us that maintaining calmness through these specific, contrasting events forms the absolute foundation of lasting emotional independence. You stop being tossed around by the waves on the surface, and instead, you become the deep ocean beneath them, completely undisturbed no matter what storm is raging up top.
So, how do we actually pull this off in the real world? Let's move into our final major section, the path to lasting peace. This daily application really boils down to a choice. We have to learn to respond with wisdom rather than just mechanically reacting with pride or anger. And how do we do that? By doing what the text calls observing the ego instead of identifying with it. Let's say someone insults you. Instead of feeling that immediate fiery heat of anger, you just step back and observe. You say to yourself, okay, my ego feels threatened right now. By simply observing the reaction instead of becoming the reaction, you free yourself from all that unnecessary emotional turbulence. You give yourself the breathing room to consciously choose a wise response.
Let's move to and see how this builds into tangible, real-world benefits. When you stop identifying with the ego and start responding with wisdom, the text highlights 3 massive results: improved relationships, a truly peaceful mind, and genuine joy. Because you're no longer constantly on the defensive or fishing for validation, your connections with others naturally deepen. Your mind finally quiets down. And best of all, you experience a joy that does not depend on any external circumstances whatsoever. It's a completely self-generating joy.
To make sure we're walking away with clear directives, let's quickly summarize the first 3 core actionable takeaways directly from our source material. Number 1, don't let praise make you arrogant. Remember, it's just inflating that ego image. Number 2, don't let criticism destroy your confidence. It's just a perceived threat to an image, not to the real you. And number 3, your peace should never, ever depend on other people's opinions. If you use these 3 steps, you've got a daily shield against emotional volatility.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it distills everything down into one ultimate key: observe your ego instead of feeding it. Lasting happiness comes from self-awareness, not external validation. It's really a shift in appetite. Instead of hungering for people to tell you how great you are, you're cultivating this quiet, incredibly powerful awareness of who you actually are. That internal awareness is hands down the only reliable source of lasting happiness. I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought taken directly from the source material. It's a question you can carry with you long after this explainer is over. The text states, "The moment you stop seeking happiness from the outside, you discover the peace that has always existed within you." So I'll ask you, what would happen today if you stopped looking outwardly for your joy and instead turned your attention inward? The peace you are exhausting yourself looking for might just be waiting for you right where you are. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep focusing on that self-awareness, and I will catch you next time